What's up YouTube, and welcome back to another episode of Oxygen Not Included, and we're coming straight into the mega farm again, where we are trying to grow, or I'm trying to grow the balm lilies. Temperature is almost there at the ends. There's a few bits and bobs where it's not quite reaching the height of temperature. I think the minimum was 35, can't remember. It's something like in between 30 and 80, I think, that you need. But there's a lot of it growing anyway, so that's fine. Realistically, though, when I've actually looked into what we need, it's the something like the pincho seed or pincho pepper or something. That's about 80% of all the good recipes, so that's one that I'm going to have to look for moving forward. But at least we have a farm going. Now, what I don't realise at the time of recording this or talking over this in the game is that I'm growing meal wood, and it's crap, because even pickled, it's a negative mood buff, so that needs to be canned. I can use it for rockets and various different things and send into other asteroids and things, but what I need to do is make sure that this base isn't eating anything that is a raw material or that is a negative morale boost. Water tanks have been doubled up. The original place where we had the storage and stuff, I've ripped it out and just put the water tanks in there, so that's nice. Much more storage for the water. You can see the automation pipe there. That is to stop the polluted water from running out, just in case. There are some things like the reed fibers and can't remember. Oh, the acorn trees. This is where you get the wood from. I believe they only can only use polluted water for them, not just normal water. So it's always a good idea to keep some water about, just in case, I would say. You can see now that I've gone through all the bedrooms that are finished, and I've changed the beds for the skins. I finally realised that you can use the skins and what they're for, and there are some really nice ones. So you can see the beds there. They're still the cots, but they are lab cots, as they're called. That's the only one I've unlocked. For the comfy beds that I'll get to when I get the plastic, I do have one skin for them as well, which is I believe a pirate ship looking thing. So it looks quite cool. Now, I'm just doing some plumbing in here for these doors to make sure, because the quicker they open, the quicker the guys can move around. And shutting these down, of course, because they are in someone's bedroom, and the rest of them can't actually get in there or through there. So I'll make sure that the two doors that allow us to enter and exit the outside of the base are available for everybody. Otherwise, we might have an issue. Kitchen's looking nice there with that jet black background. Proper gas cooker using natural gas, though I've not set it up yet because we're not using it. You can see I've done all of the mess rooms around, and they've all got duplicate sensors in so that the lights turn on when they're in there. I don't know if it makes a difference. I think it makes them eat quicker, but I'm not 100% sure. I am now going to do the same above the cooking stations. The one on the left with the grill has the spice in there as well, so all the food will be spiced, and that gives a 10% increase in production. And then you can see the central water tank I'm in the process of removing finally. So we're not really going to gain anything from it. It's not a room down the centre as such, or at least not yet anyway, unless we run out of space. But it's nice to just have it open with the air tiles, so the oxygen and carbon dioxide can all go where it needs to go. Again, bedroom wise, I believe there is 28. We have 24 duplicates. There is the research station right smack in the middle on the left hand side, which I'll be ripping out shortly because we need to upgrade it anyway, and that'll be 2 more bedrooms. So we should have 30 bedrooms. Now, I do need to go through and do this, and I spent a lot of time on this, so I'm going to skip it, but I need to make sure that I only give access to 1 duplicate per room, which I do through the door, but you also need to make sure that you set the same duplicate up on the bed in that room, because it was all screwed up, and I had to basically reset and do it all from scratch. It was a nightmare, but needs must, and I think we're happy to just continue as it is. And then the rooms that aren't being used, when I finally get to the end, I'll just lock them, so at least I know which rooms are available, and any new duplicates coming in will go in them. So while I was doing that, of course, we can see back to excuse me, back to the kitchens. And I am going to double them up because it is working, but I do have 2 cooks, and obviously you can only use one at a time. So I thought, why not have 2? So the idea here is that the 2 chefs are going to cook on the grill. The next level of food after the grill is the oven, which uses natural gas, and we know we've got many thousands of kilos of that. Especially now we've upgraded the thermal power, we aren't actually using the natural gas. Also, as a byproduct from the oxygen generation, we're getting a lot of hydrogen. Hydrogen is very efficient fuel for creating power, and it is also very clean, which actually is better than natural gas because that gives us a lot of carbon dioxide and polluted water. But we've got 3 geysers chucking out natural gas, so it just makes sense. Hydrogen we are using for heating and cooling, or at least the transportation of. But if we get into any desperate straits, we can, of course, use that to power the base or backup. Alternatively, I can send it off planet and use it to burn on another planet and power, asteroid. And just power a different asteroid or multiple asteroids with the byproduct of hydrogen. Because again, the hydrogen is just a waste for us at the minute. I am storing it all. I'm not wasting any of it. But we're only actually after the oxygen. And there we go. Now we have almost. We just need to power it, of course. And the automated lights for the cooking as well. And yes, the lights are a skin. They are the normal, just the light bulbs, but I think they look better, more like lights, right? So they're not any different in terms of they give off the same heat, they use the same everything. It's just a skin, but I think it does look better. So I've moved on to using those, and it does increase the cook speed, of course, when they're doing that. And you can see there, they're both on the grill, and the light is on. Nice and simple duplicate sensor. It just turns the lights on when they're there and off when they go. You can use a NOT gate if you want it to be the alternate, of course, but for that you don't need to do that. It's just instant setup, nice and simple. Farms are still working nicely though. I would like a way of reducing the load on the actual duplicates to come and do anything. Spoiler, we do get a fix for that, so stay tuned for that. But for now, we're having to use the duplicates to do it. The chlorine room is a death trap, just simply because they can't breathe or see. So an Atmos suit, as I said, would be added to there. We are melting through the top, but it is very slow going, and I don't honestly think that we'll get there anytime, or it'll become a problem anytime soon. The other advantage as well, you can see they have the Atmos suits there, so they can go in there without any problems, but we just need to get this last bit heated, if I can. The temperature required is quite warm. I say it's up to 80, but we're not getting anywhere near that sort of temperature from the production that we're using. I think the room gets to about maybe 40s, high 40s, so we're pulling that away from the oxygen room. And again, it just takes a bit longer, but it does work, and it will work. If we need to do cooling, that's a whole different problem, and we need to steal probably the ethanol would be the easiest way, because you just saw it there when it was in the liquid view. It is going straight past the farm, so we can steal it out of there, because while it is stagnant, it's not doing anything anyway. So if we can steal it from the ethanol line, use that to cool down anything that needs to grow in the cold, and then we can set it back up and have it recooled, and then it goes down to the thermal plant if and when it's needed anyway. This has got a bit messy. My spaghetti junction of filtering the gases is broken because I didn't give a contingency for where things were full, i.e. the carbon dioxide tank you can see there in the bottom right, and the natural gas. So it just needs a bit more plumbing, and I can do that. I am certainly not going to bore you with that over the video, but just to let you know, I just need to basically rip out everything that's empty first, and then anything that's got something in it, either empty it or allow it to drain off elsewhere. Once I can do, well, once I'm able to basically just remove all of this, I will, and then rewire it from, or replumb it in from scratch. You can see it looks really complicated, and although it's quite obvious how it's set up, the filters just back up as soon as they have nowhere to go, which makes sense. So we need a easy way of backing up the resources that we've got too much of. Now, hydrogen is going to very quickly fill up because we're producing it non-stop. We have 3 geysers on the natural gas, so that's the thing. And then, just by definition, you usually just have a lot of carbon dioxide that I'll try and use for the rockets. It's not great as a rocket fuel. Sugar rockets are better using your sucrose, however you want to say that. Usually I have a lot of sucrose, but I've not used the Sweedle plant pet things this time, and I made a huge mistake. I don't know if you've noticed or if it's happened yet on the video. Actually, I'm not sure if it was present, but there was a time where I decided I needed to get some barbecue, so I just basically spammed the map, and that wiped out my farm. Yes, the farm of Drekos that I was trying to breed into plastic, I killed them all by accident. So we'll have to get some from another asteroid and bring them back, or we'll go the way of oil. So oil into petroleum, petroleum into plastic. We can do it. It does give off a lot of heat, but we also have a decent cooling setup in place. So it's not the end of the world, but of course, it's not what I wanted to do. Okay, 300 hours later, there we go. So what I've done is you can see that the 2 top and the second down, they were the same, and I overly complicated it by wiring them in. So they are just overflows, and you can see they are working as such. So the chlorine, I don't even know I had 2 for chlorine, to be honest. We're never going to get that much chlorine, but never mind. The hydrogen obviously is now going straight into where it needs to go. You can see there's a lot of carbon dioxide coming in as we expected. And we have 1 full tank on that. We have 1 full tank of natural gas. It will break when the natural gas fills up again, but I've got a solution for that, and that is just chuck 2 more tanks down below and then wire it into there. So then we have 4 tanks to store it. If at any point it gets too over the top, we can just turn off the... I mean, if I get 4 tanks full of natural gas, I'll probably just turn off the room. Not the geysers, you can't turn them off, but you can turn off the pump. The room then fills up with natural gas, and when it gets to a maximum pressure, the geysers will stop. So there's ways around it. Obviously, the hydrogen we need to create, we have to keep the hydrogen going because that's just a byproduct of making oxygen. Right, so the next step is the level 4, and really it's the last step though, the level 5. You can see is the next column across, but it's the same research. So the level 4 research is the data discs. That is the little disc you get from inspecting various different things that already exist on the asteroids from previous duplicants. We do have a lot. I think it uses 10 per research though, so they will run out pretty quick. To be honest, it's quite easy. You just need the discs, and then they go into some sort of like virtual reality dome and do it. The most complex, I would say, is the 3rd level, which is the radiation thing and just making sure that everybody stays safe. So it's not going to get too difficult from now on. Any research you have to do in space is much later on. That's a bit complex, but this one's pretty simple. We just need the space for the building. I am going to rip out the current research room, change it for bedrooms, likely, and then just move the research room elsewhere with all of the buildings that are required, or the research stations as they're called, all together in one place. Now I'm just going to quickly go through on the foods and turn off, as I mentioned previously, turn off all the raw resources and all of the foods that are prerequisites to better foods, so that I'm not eating an ingredients before turning it into something better. And I'm also going to turn off pickled mealwood, because that is a negative. So they're not gonna starve, which is a good thing, but they are going to be sad. And I do have plenty of other resources for them to eat. I'll hold on to them in the refrigerator. I might get some freezers when we got the plastic, and we'll use that for like desperate times or asteroids where we take over and just need to send them food. or even in rockets to make sure they don't starve on the way to wherever they're going. Don't know why I waited so long, but I'm just wired in the natural gas into the ovens as well. Again, we've got plenty of it. Obviously, you can see there I'm taking it from the return line, so that's the cool line. So I'm not chucking 130 degree gas into the kitchen because that will just make it overheat. So it's the cooler variant, and then the actual ovens, when they're running, will create heat. If it becomes a problem, I'll put a cooling loop in, but I don't think it will. And we're still quite a ways from using them anyway, because I need a seed that I don't even have yet. Right, getting serious about looking after the duplicants now. I am building the hospital upgrade, and that is the sick bay and the serum table. Can't remember what it's called. So the apothecary there that's next to the door is the thing that makes the medicines, various different types. And then you've got the sick bay, which is the chair and the brown little desk to the left of it. And that uses med packs, which we can make. Next to that is the little capsule, which is the very end game, heals everything, including zombie spores. And the medicine for that, though, is, you can see it there, the serum vial at the very bottom, which needs steel and sunshine nymph eggs, which I haven't even seen a sunshine bug yet, or at least I might have seen one and killed it. Again, animal wise, I've extinct them from the asteroid. I really need to get them back. So we can cure them from physical injuries. The hospital below will sort that out. There's 5 beds there for that. And then the med bay will do most of the easy poisons that they get. And then that final building there will do the end game ones. I will double up though and make this room just 2 med bays, and then across the other side of the base do 2 of the vial ones. We only need 1 apothecary, and you can see it's actually showing it's not as a hospital, because you need a wash basin, so a sink, and you need a plant or something for decoration as well. There we go, plum wash basin and a bit of prettiness, and there you go, another hospital. So all we need now is the medication, which, other than the serum, the vial serum, we have. That paint, one of them paintings needs changing though. That's annoying. I don't know if I do it yet. Also, I need to move them doors because I don't want people walking through the hospital to get to that chamber. There's no point. Plus, the doors below are much faster. So, yeah, anyway. I'm already fixing it, so not a problem at all. We can move on. So back over at the farms and looking at a solution for saving the duplicants some time, and that is the Sweepy Dark, which is basically like a Rumba. I do go off it though and go for the Reapy, as it's called. The Reapy is a mod that is the plant harvesting version of that, so it will harvest and collect crops. It will not collect the seeds, and it will not fertilize, but that's still a good 40-50% of the job being done automatically, and it's also not using oxygen and the electricity for the stations as well. So we will jump over to do that, a bit of testing, and I need to make sure it's not going to crash the game, and then we'll come back and look at the Reapies. Scratch that, because we've got another problem. A lot of my duplicants have food poisoning. Looking at the fridges, they are full of food that is including the food poisoning bug. I have, above each of the fridges, you can see a UV lamp, sterilizer lamp, that I thought would kill them, but it doesn't work because they are inside the fridge. So turning the fridge off, you can see it drops all the food on the floor, and immediately all of the food poisoning is obliterated by the UV lamp. Just to add, the UV lamp is connected to the duplicant sensor via a NOT gate, so that if a duplicant walks in there, it turns off. It will do them quite a lot of damage, sunburn and various other things, so you don't want the duplicants around the UV lamps. But yeah, the food poisoning will be instantly killed off because it is underneath the lamp, and then you can put it back in the fridge and it's safe. But it doesn't then fix the problem moving forward, and all of the food that they continue to cook has food poisoning on it. Now, the kitchen's clean, I disinfected, the food coming in is clean to my knowledge, I'm not sure what I'm doing wrong there. Any thoughts on that or any advice on that is gratefully appreciated. Food poisoning is not the end of the world, but I'd like my duplicates to all be happy and clean and just no ailments, no negatives at all is the goal here. The only other thing I could do is store the food in a fridge that is in a room that has chlorine in it. That does work, but that's a bit ridiculous because then they'd have to walk in there. I don't know. Any ideas, let me know, but food poisoning is a problem. Back over at the farm, and we do have a new farm in place. It was already set up, I just needed to do the cooling, and as I mentioned, I did exactly that. The cooling I stole from the ethanol. So the ethanol that we was already using to cool down the thermal plant to stop them from overheating is now being stolen. Just there you can see through a sensor that says that this room has to be below 5 degrees. Yes, this room has to be below 5 degrees for the plants to grow, and they can support down to negative 50 degrees. These are the sleetweed seeds that I stole from the asteroid that we teleported to. There was quite a few on there along with the wart seeds. And these are also used for making the frost buns, which is quite a nice food level 2. But you can also stop making the frost buns and use the sleet seeds to make a much better tier 3 food. So that's what we're doing. It's nice though that the way I set up the farm, I've got one room that's like negative 5 degrees. The room above it is plus 25, and then the room above that is like plus 50. But because of the way I built it and set it up at the very beginning, it doesn't matter. The insulation tiles are just keeping the room separate. Just going to quickly run down here because I thought I did this earlier, but I want these to have the black tiles. I might do the whole base because I always do it this one colour and it annoys me. But I'm probably going to go and do it. Definitely the middle I want to do, and then chuck some decoration on the top as well, just to try and increase the visuals, and then that'll increase the moods as well. Also, I need to make an actual recreation room or two. I haven't made any yet. There's plenty of stuff that I've researched, I just haven't got around to it yet because just keeping them alive was the priority at this time. That guy down there, by the way, we are getting close now to the final set, which is the food. As soon as I get the pincho peppers, I'm not pronouncing that right, I'm sure, that will unlock him. The only option other than that we have is going down the Pacu route, which is the fish, and I don't have any of them either, because again, I killed every animal. Whatever animal we find first within the asteroids will be the one that we use, but we have to get that. And yes, I had so much steel, I thought, why not upgrade to the steel ladders, which are better than the plastic ladders and save us using any plastic. They're 50% faster. I'm not going to do that bit. They're 50% faster, which is huge for a speed of ladder, so we will do that. There is also some ribbed poles where you can slide down them as fast, but you can climb up them as fast as the speed climbing up them is the same as a plastic ladder, so it will be slightly slower than the steel ladder, but it just takes up one block. The way I've built the base, though, as you can see, is 2 and 2, so I'm going to do it this way. We had about 20,000 steel. We're down to like 1,000, which is fine. This is what we're using it for. This is the main base. We won't use all of the other ladders. We'll leave as they are. I'm not going to waste it for that. But I just like the idea of doing it this way. It's better than the plastic and also doesn't waste any plastic. Overall, we're looking good on the base. We are going to have to start looking at rocketry soon so that I can get these animals in that we need, and also seeds that are missing. The printer isn't liable to give us what we need, I wouldn't have thought. But I think we are happy. Looking at the temperature of the base, the actual main base, there's a little bit there that's cold coming from and around the research station that's going to be removed, but the rest of it looks okay to me. So I think we're comfortable. Nice place to leave it. So we are going to end it here as we are slightly over time. Thank you very much for watching. If you liked the video, please click like. Any comments are welcome. As always, join us on Discord. Subscribe for more. Take care. Goodbye.